Hello everyone, and welcome to the next edition of our special editions of RINI podcast. Today we are at the premises of the offices of Friedrich and Stiftung Tirana, a solid partner and friend of the National Youth Congress of Albania. I'm here with Stine Klapper, the head of the office of FES Tirana. I'm very happy that you have found the time to meet with us today and be part of our edition of RINI podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stine. I'd be curious to start this conversation with you and know a bit of what brought you to Albania and how has been your experience with FES Tirana until now. What motivates you the most in this job?
So that's a good question. I mean, I came here 4.5 years ago, so I've been here for quite some time. And as you may know, we rotate in FES, so we're always for a limited time in a certain country. And before coming here, I actually really wanted to come to Albania. I was in Skopje some time before, and so I knew the region. I knew also a bit of Albania, and it was it interested me a lot actually for different reasons. I think it's a fascinating country, and one reason actually back then was already that I saw that there was a lot of youth activity and engagement. So something which also I found interesting to see and also to work with. So there are several things that motivate me actually for my work. And of course, the cooperation in the youth area is one, because there's a lot of activity and it's very dynamic, but also all the other fields I work with because we work with really great people also in other areas, as be it trade unions, economic policy, European integration, media. And we have great partners, and I really enjoy a lot working also with my team here at FES, which is great.
And among many projects that you mentioned and interventions in different fields that you have been working with in Albania, youth policies, youth development and empowerment has been one of those fields where we have also joined forces with the National Youth Congress and have cooperated to bring some new innovative projects for youth. From your perspective, personal and both professional engagement, how do you see youth issues in Albania? What are, according to your perspective, the key fields which need directed intervention and new initiatives to be built for strengthened youth empowerment in the country?
I think a lot has developed actually in the field of youth empowerment, youth engagement, also youth inclusion in decision making and other ways. Thanks to NUK actually, which has developed into a very important voice for the younger generation, a very strong organization. So I think in the past years a lot has already improved, but obviously there are still many challenges, not only for young people, but especially for young people also, because there is obviously a high interest in creating a better future. So even though a lot of improvements have happened, both for youth and youth inclusion, youth empowerment, and also in the country overall, I think there are still fields, both when it comes to certain topics, certain things that are relevant, especially to young people that plan their future in this country. And these are also various, right? If you think about the high number of young people that actually want to leave, it makes sense to look into why they want to leave. What is the reason? Because knowing the life here, I think many young people would want to stay here, want to stay with their families and friends. So I think looking into this makes a lot of sense in deciding and seeing what actually the main points are where there needs to be stronger intervention. This starts with, education, good jobs, also social welfare schemes. So there is a lot actually that can be discussed where things have improved already, but that still need another look. It is a phenomenon in the entire region, but I think also here it makes sense to really look into this and to start policy interventions on this also. And also there, youth has already gained a lot in terms of partaking in decision making, in terms of bringing expertise, bringing the view of these important stakeholders. But as we know, structurally, and not only here, I mean, everywhere, structures are actually geared towards a certain strata of the population, which is older and male, mainly. This is everywhere, including Germany. This has, of course, historic reasons for centuries. This was the population that decided everything, and it's only changing slowly. So it makes sense to also focus on this institutionalization of the inclusion, not only of young people, of other marginalized groups too, obviously. But there are many things where we still need to, push and push, so both on content and on structures. But besides these institutionalized structures, there are so many other ways for youth engagement and activism that also many young people already choose here. So not only citizen makers tables, but everywhere.
Yeah, one of those initiatives that we can also mention here, and I would like to get your perspective, has been Rinor and Rinvote, because these projects that FES, Friedrich Ebert Stiftung Tirana, has supported, has been directed into increasing youth participation and representation into politics. So young people have had to sit in tables with decision makers and have had the chance and opportunity in a local media to discuss about what worries them and what do they see as key challenges in political situations in our country. How do you see the implementation of such initiatives, and how do you see the future of having similar formats where young people engage and discuss publicly with politicians and decision makers in Albania? And maybe you can bring also your perspective on Rinor and Rinvote and how important it is for FES.
Yeah, Rinvote and Rinor have been a highlight for us. I think these are great programs because they bring so many aspects together. And one that you've already mentioned is really to support the dialogue between young people and politicians, but especially with young people bringing their concerns to the attention of politicians and doing this in a format where they are actually heard. It is really a direct dialogue or conversation. So this is really a good place where concerns can be placed. This is one thing, but also it shows, I think, young people that they can participate. That their concerns can be heard, that they are valid, to be brought forward, and that the politicians then, in this case, have to listen to them and to react to them, but also to discuss among the politicians. I also think it's very important to have different views on it from different political parties, to also show young people that there are different approaches towards solving certain issues based on the political background. So that also a support of youth engagement with politics, not only directly in this format, but also increasing the interest in it and increasing the understanding what also political competition is. And in general, one thing that's also very important for us is that with this format, something we wanted to achieve is also a different culture of political conversation or controversy. So not one which is aggressive and violent and mainly constitutes, fighting each other in a way to delegitimize each other, but really trying to fight each other with words that are based on arguments and on explanations and on describing what actually the reasons for certain political preferences are. So I think this program is for us at FES a very, very important one, and we hope that we can replicate this in this form or another, but that brings together both aspects of political participation of young people, but also the political culture and the change in political culture, which is still necessary.
Mm-hmm. And it requires the collaboration and involvement of many stakeholders. And since we're on this topic, I'd also like to get to know a bit more of your perspective on the cooperation with the National Youth Congress of Albania. How do you see it as a mechanism for grassroots movements for young people, and how do you think the partnership between FES, Tirana and National Youth Congress will develop and will flourish in the future?
Oh, I think we will continue to have a very good partnership for us. It's a very important one from the start. It has been, and we're proud that we're of this partnership and the way that we could support the National Youth Congress, because it has developed into really a very important organization, as it is the umbrella organization for many youth for many youth organizations, individuals, initiatives. I think this has different functions, both in creating this movement and voice, not unifying like one youth opinion, but to give everyone who's involved a platform and to transpose this platform to also national level and to decision makers. So I think this is very important, but also creating this community and network among youth organizations is very important, because only together certain things can be changed, only together if organizations work together. The youth concerns are very better. And I think this is actually one very important aspect, that the National Youth Congress has managed to keep organizations under the same umbrella that don't necessarily share the same political view or goals, but still unify in the terms of improving the lives of young people in the country. So I think it is extremely important that this is also the form of the organization is an umbrella organization, and to be non-partisan, to be independent, and yeah, we at FVS are very happy about this cooperation and looking forward to new other formats, new things that we can track.
Thank you, Stine. And if there would be any message that you'd give to young people or to organizations that work with National Youth Congress, what would it be?
A message. I tend try not to give too many messages, because I think young people know very well what they want and also what needs to happen. But one thing is, I think, is just do it. Also for young people that are in any community in this country feel that something needs to change, just do it. Just as a young person, you have so many different ways to engage, and the advantage of the young is, of course, that they're not caught up in these structures as older people are, that are somehow resigned to certain things because they become more passive. Young people need to use the energy that they have and really ask actively for change. And one thing as a message which I think is important is that don't do it alone. So do it, but don't do it alone. Really find other people that share this concern, that want to be active, support each other, build networks, build groups, work in solidarity, because it's the only way. You cannot change anything alone. You need others, and you need to do this in solidarity and not in competition. So this, I think, if I want to send a message, this would be the one.
Thank you so much, Stine, for your words of encouragement, and also thank you for sharing your perspectives and your experience of working with youth empowerment in Albania. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for finding time to be with us today.
Thanks a lot for having me. I enjoyed it too.
Thank you. And thank you to all our listeners. Stay tuned for more podcasts.